friend, Minal Sampat. Thanks for being here, Minal.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we always love hearing from you. I hear that from people throughout the day. The call I was on just before this, I said I was going to go live with Minal, and he said, be sure to tell Minal hi. She did my podcast. She was amazing. So thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who don't know Minal, I just can't imagine. You must not be on Facebook. But if you don't know Minal yet, let me just share with you a little bit about Minal. She is one of our DSI faculty members, which is exciting, I think. So I wanted to lead with that. But she also, much more than that, trains business owners, consultants, doctors, and their teams to become marketing gurus and to get results in today's ever-changing world and marketplace. Now, boy, do we feel like we are in an ever-changing world right now, every day, right? It kind of feels like we're in the spin cycle and we're ready to touch
Twilight zone. You know, it's a twilight zone. Every hour is a different reality for us right now.
Oh, it is. And I want to be sure that I mentioned, I was telling Minal, I actually have the original. Show us your picture, Minal, yours. So now she's got the gold bar that says it's an Amazon bestseller, but I have one that was unveiled at Jumpstart in January. Thank you so much for that. An amazing read for those of you who don't have Why Your Marketing is Killing Your Business. Be sure you hit up Amazon to get that. And now there's never been a better time to read Minal's book than right now when
right
you
now.
and your team have
right away.
That's right. Well, so hello, everybody. And we've got someone has joined us here, but I can't tell who it is. I need to.
We have Michael, we have Joy, we have about 8 to 10 viewers right now.
Awesome. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. So someone has worked on their mission and vision statements for this weekend for their presentation project. Who's that?
Joy.
Oh, Joy. Oh, yay. Joy, awesome. Good job. And thanks for being here. Well, hopefully I'll be able to see the faces as they pop up. For some reason, that's not working for me, but you'll help me, Minal. Let's dive right
I have multiple screens right now. I work with 3 different screens. So if you guys see me doing this way, it's just because I'm looking at the comments coming. And we also just had Joanne join us, Paul join us. Everybody's joining us. They're saying hello. Hello, guys. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And everybody know that we would like for this to be interactive. So if you have questions as we go, be sure and pop them in. And thank you so much for telling us hello as you come in. So let's get started. So we all know that there's a lot going on right now, and our industry has really never seen anything like this. And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of just not knowing what would be the right next step. So when we think about marketing, I've heard it all in the last week, Minal. I've heard everything from, you really should not be sending an email to meeting planners right now, to, now's a great time to have a new promotion, and there's a lot in between. So I was hoping we could chat today about what would be appropriate. Now, we'll unpack this a little differently, but for the purpose of our conversation, I'd like to address for both the speaker consultant, who have many in our group, or that, the event planner, we have many meeting planners in our group, but also the dentist and the dental team. So we've got 3 different audiences, and all have a need to be bringing in business right now. So why don't we start with the dental speaker and consultant, and give me your thoughts on what is a solution or 2 that you can think to for the speaker and consultant who would like to bring in more business now. How can they market?
Well, the first thing that I always go back to is I'm a believer that we need to almost have a true north. We need to have a foundation, something that we go to when we are faced with difficult issues and challenges, right? What is the right answer? How do I go about doing something, whether it's marketing or it's anything in business? And what I have actually done is I have broken down 5 different ways of connection. And this 5 different ways of connection can easily be translated into our current environment. And that's what I want to be very specific, and I want to show you guys how exactly I did this and what it is that I'm doing. Now, the first thing that I did was, and I think this is important for all of us, this foundation is very important, is we have to learn to meet people when they're common ground. right? So for example, when the world is freaking out, you can't be there saying $69 promotion, $69 promotion, because the world is freaking out.
Yeah.
And that does not mean that you're going to be the $69 promotion that's going to come in, whether you're a consultant, a speaker, a dental practice, whoever you are, even if you're a meeting planner, doing meetings and you are trying to get people to come to your workshop or your conference or your meeting. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find the common ground. Now, if we look at the history that we have so far, last week pretty much changed the world we live in, right? Last week was, I felt that the Friday before, I was talking to clients, things were great. I wake up Saturday morning, by Sunday, it's a different world. And we come into Monday and there is complete freak out zones and there is confusion. What do I do? How do I get there? Now, last week was a time where you have to show sympathy, you have to show vulnerability, and you have to allow yourself to also gather your thoughts and your information, right? Because without it, you have to process this. And, for me, I am a wife of a physician. And, my husband is on the front line. So I not only had to process, my work life, and then obviously the online world where I have, hundreds of comments and peoples and all these things that are happening, but I also had to process my family life when my husband has to go to work every day. And he's facing issues that we can't even really imagine sitting at a desk. So there was multiple different of processing. But what I did was I shared authentically about finding that common ground. So I came in directly with there and I said, okay, my messaging last week was very much focused on how can I help you? How can I be there for you? This is confusing. This is something that none of us have faced before. So what can I do for you? So the email that I sent out to my clients last week had nothing to do with my work, with my strategy. It was almost like a very vulnerable, open email. And, pretty much it just said that I consider myself an extension of your team. I understand this is a confusing time for you. It's also confusing for me. What can I do for you? How can I help you? What would you like me to do? And I had my clients messaging me, emailing me, calling me. I even had a client message me last week and she said, I got the weirdest text in the morning. I wake up to it because I'm on the West Coast, they're on the East Coast. She's like, Minal, can you help me with homework? And I'm like, I'm your marketing strategist. What do you need me? What do you need my help with? And they're like, they changed math.
It depends. Is it math? Is it English? It really would depend for me.
Right. So it was math, right? And she was talking about how they changed math. And she remembered that I did math counts and things like that growing up. And the way I do math is the new math because that's how I was taught in trainings. When you're in competition, you're supposed to break down the math. You're not supposed to memorize a lot of it because you need to be able to solve things because you are being timed in competition. So I competed in a lot of different math competitions. So she remembered that. And guess what? I spent an hour working with her kids on Zoom doing math. and that was what I did. And obviously there was no charge for it or there was nothing like that. But you have to show up for the people that you care about, right? Now, I've been very lucky where none of my clients have canceled on me. There's been postpones, there's been delays because let's face it, everybody right now again is trying to catch up. So last week, your communication, even if you haven't done this as of now, even today, I would say until Wednesday is a good time for you to communicate with your clients and your potential clients on how can you be of help to them? Yeah. What do they need from you, right? Like I even had somebody reach out and say they're very worried about their elderly parents who live by themselves and they can't leave the house. So I spent some time researching and saying, okay, what are the delivery systems for groceries? And we came together with a plan and we said that because you see, people at that time don't necessarily need to hear what services you provide. They need to be there that, do I have a friend that I can count on? Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where we really kind of move towards. So that's the first way, but I mean, finding a common ground. Now, this is week 2. And I follow this finding a common ground throughout. So last week I asked the people, what do you need from me? And I gave it to them. I did live shows with industry experts online, and we had 3,000 views within 1 hour, hundreds of comments coming in from people trying to share. Now, this week, today, if you're in my group, Marketing and Mocktails with Minal, I started this morning and my poll question was, how are we feeling today? And I just simply asked that. And the poll question was, I'm ready to implement and get through this. I'm ready for the future. Or, it was like, I'm still wearing the same pajamas as last week. What are you talking about? And the third option was, I'm processing it all. So now that we are processing it all, so people chose that. And now I know that they're all ready to implement and get started. Now, because they told me that, again, that common ground, tomorrow or Wednesday, I can come out and say, hey guys, here's what I want you to implement right away. If you have the time, do this, this, and this, because their minds are now open to that reception. They weren't open to that reception last week. So your messaging, when it comes to your marketing, you shouldn't see marketing as a way to just talk about your business. Your marketing is your reputation. When can people call you? How do people see you? How do people perceive you, right? And that's really your marketing. Your marketing is what others are saying about you. So when you tell me that you're speaking with another meeting planner before we got on the phone and said, oh, I can't believe Minal did a great job, or that's my reputation. Everything else comes after. That's actually my marketing. Yeah. So if you're looking at your marketing consultants and speakers, you need to find out. Now, clearly, you have multiple different, kind of clientele. You have your own clients, but you also have meeting planners. Again, are meeting planners going to be receptive to hear you at that time? I always talk about, don't be a jerk in a time of need. Like, let's just not do that. Let's try to be there for people. So I know this is kind of a long answer, but I wanted to kind of provide you the foundation on saying that if you ever have to question and say, what do I do at this moment? Find out where your clients, your customers, whoever it is that you're trying to reach are, find the common ground and meet them there, whatever that is. Whether it's doing math problems, that's okay. I'm here. I'll help you with math problems. I will help you deliver groceries to your parents, whatever it is. I got you.
Well, that really is going above and beyond. I love that. And it really is about connection and relationships, really everything is marketing. I think it's Fred Joyle that has that book. But truly, everything in life really is marketing at some point, because it comes back to that's how people remember you. And certainly we want to help people in this time. And realistically, we've all got to be able to get back to work at some point and earn money. And, now's a good time to really be there and help people, and ultimately we'll all help each other and be able to bring this economy back to a stronger place. So that's great. So the first step was to find common ground. What's step 2?
Well, step 2 is a little bit more in depth, and what I mean by that is, you provide a solution that's easy to do, right? You can, like I said, you want to go ahead and you want to provide a solution. That's a fantastic way of doing it. But you also want to make sure that you are telling a story. And what I mean by that is, when you're doing your marketing, and whether this is, again, reaching out to meeting planners, or this is reaching out to your patients, your potential patients, you have to be able to share your experiences in a story format. So it can be, again, $69 special, because we don't want to hear that. We kind of want to hear about who you are. We kind of want to hear about where you are heading with this and how this is going to help me as a consumer, right? As a consultant. So let's just say, for example, we have a bunch of people watching here, right? Consultants, dentists, whoever. So let's just pick dentist. All right, because we just talked about consultants. So let's say you are a dentist and you are trying to reach your patients right now, and you want to make sure that you are in front of them. You want to make sure that you are not forgotten during this time, because, again, your offices are closed and there's a lot going on. So as a practice owner or as a dentist, tell a story. And what I mean by that is, you're also stuck at home right now. Now, many of you may have kids and you're homeschooling your kids, and oh my gosh, you have to homeschool your kids. I mean, everybody loves teachers right now. We can't believe how much work they do, because we have 2 kids in the house and it's blowing our minds, right? So share about that and talk about how are you going to, share about the stories that you're facing every day. So I talked about this with a few of my clients, and I have a multi-location practice client in New York. And every day he comes online and he shares something. Like, he actually shared about how he had to go through this entire thing to figure out how to make his kids eat fruits. And the answer was, you put toothpicks in little fruit pieces and the kids will eat the fruit. If you give them a fruit by themselves, they wouldn't eat the fruit. And he was talking about how he's creating his entire day, the calendar, how he's organizing it. What is he trying to make sure that there is a norm? And he's sharing this. So this is a story. This is his own personal story. And he's sharing this. And he's a male. And he had his daughter, who's 5 years old, paint his nails yesterday. And he was pretty much saying, here, I have pink nails, and that's okay. This is what's going on right now. This is what a stay-at-home dad is doing, right? And he's sharing this, and all these people, his patients, are communicating with him, and they're like, well, did you know that if you were to do apples like this, they're going to eat it better with the fruit thing? Or if you do strawberries like this, again, for him, he's sharing his story. Now, you could do the same thing when you're a dental practice provider. Show up as a human, right? And not just as a provider. Now, when you show up as a human, this is a strategy. When you show up as a human, as a caring person, you can follow that up with whatever you're providing. So, for example, I had somebody else who did that already, and now they're at the second step of the strategy. And what they're doing with the second step is they're doing a fun series of it. So they're talking about how, hey guys, just because you're home doesn't mean you can't, brush and floss your teeth. We understand Netflix and chilling is important. That means you're eating popcorn and junk food. And are you one of those people who's going to gain the 10 pounds? Well, don't forget you have to brush and floss. And then they'll do shoot us your most hilarious flossing and brushing photos. So on their page, they have all these people, all their patients, and all these people sharing photos of them doing funny brushing and flossing things, with their pets, with their kids. It's 10 a.m. and I'm brushing my teeth. It's not 7 a.m. All this funny stuff. And now people are engaging with it.
Yeah.
So you bring the content up in a fun way. So you first bring yourself, then you bring the content up. Do you see what I mean with the messaging?
I totally do. Especially for social media, right? That's especially important with the human side. Would you find that to be true, through email marketing or something as well? Just the authenticity, show up, like you say, show up as a human. I love that. Do you feel that would be the same with through email?
Email could be great. Again, if you have a video and you put it onto YouTube and then you embed the link into your email. But the thing is, people may want to see you. And that's where social media takes apart. The issue with emails right now is I'm getting about 25 emails a day from every single company in the world who has my email address on how they're trying to make sure that, responding to COVID-19. And I'm like, I didn't buy from you in the last 10 years, but okay, thanks for letting me know, right? So you become a part of the noise. Now, if you want to use email strategy, now this is what I used last week. So this is a little bit different. I did not use MailChimp or Constant Contact, Active Campaign. I did not send out a newsletter. What I did was I literally had my team go through my clients, right? And I came up with their email addresses, and we sent it out from actually our email ID. So we have multiple email IDs. My team has an info email ID. I have my own personal email ID. And this went out through my email ID to all of the people, and it was personal. And it was personalized with their first name. So I wasn't just coming out and I wasn't being another yet stock email going out on how I'm dealing with COVID-19. And I didn't even mention it. I just say, I know this is a very confusing time for us. What can I do for you? How can I be of help to you? Please feel free to reach out, right? And it was a personal message, and the email was from my email ID. And the responses I received were just absolutely amazing. And I'm so very thankful that I received personal text messages, just IMs and emails back with clients actually reading this email because it came from me and not just a company email. So that's the difference.
Yeah. Hey, we have a question.
Yeah.
So Paul Ouellette, thank you for being here, Paul. He wondered if we could comment on how to communicate with our patients through a virtual patient portal.
Yeah. So, obviously right now, the virtual patient portal is the new cool thing, right? That's what everybody's doing. And who knew virtual is going to be this big? Maybe this is going to become a virtual revolution. You know how we have the industrious revolution? This is the virtual revolution,
Well, now's the time to buy stock in Zoom for sure.
Oh, yes. All the big meeting planners, just go ahead and buy the stocks in it. So if you are, going to communicate with your patients via virtual Zoom, that is the same thing as you communicating with them in person. It's really no different. Depends on how you're communicating and what method you're using. So for example, I know that the ADA over the weekend actually came out with what does it mean to do teledentistry. So they actually have an entire list. Whoever you are, if you want to send me your information or just shoot me an IM, you can find me on Facebook, Minal Sampat. I'm in a gray dress. That's me. There's a profile picture. And I'll send you the link to what the ADA sent out. So they did send out how to do teledentistry. And they also sent out what platforms to use or not to use and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of great information on there. If you're looking at messaging, once you decide that platform, again, be who you are. It's the same thing. This is me. If you were to meet me in real life, this is how I am. So it's no different than you being on it. Virtual is the same thing.
Let me ask you a question on that, though, because I'm wondering if something like a virtual, like a Zoom, would be better for communicating with our team, maybe having weekly team meetings or something versus our patients. I'm wondering if the patients, if it isn't better, if we're going to have a campaign where we're not, campaign may not be the best word for that, but if we decide this project is that while we're off, we're going to go back and get a list of all of our past patients and current, and we're going to break up, the team's going to break up. We have a unified message. And when I talked with Tim Gard earlier today, he talked about the importance of words, and it is important to not just that we don't want to call up and, hey, how are you? We want to, we want to be sure that you're going to be able to manage your messaging, especially if you have multiple team members who are handling that. But it feels like maybe the phone would be a better way to go if we're wanting to get out with patients. Would you agree? Versus what else would we have? We'd have email.
Well, again, I think the whole thing with teledentistry is that.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm not talking teledentistry. I'm talking about the connection piece. I think that's what Paul was talking about, was like, I believe that's what he's talking about here, is the finding common ground and like, how can I be of help? That piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're trying to communicate with your team, then yes, Zoom, even opening up a Facebook group is a great way. I have a Facebook group.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I have a Facebook group with my own team, and inside my Facebook group, here's what I love. We do all our meetings on there. I go live on it. They go live on it. We even put our content on there. So we are always discussing, hey, what do you guys think of this? So you're not constantly texting them. But if you want to create content that you want them to read, you can do an email thread. That's okay. I like email threads, but I like Facebook a lot better for my personal team, because my team is all over the United States. I even have somebody in Canada. And we're in all different time zones. So for us to figure out to get together is a little bit difficult.
We've got one in Finland.
Right, exactly. Right. Bhakti is in Finland. So doing that sort of stuff, it's a little bit different when it comes to communication. So I use Facebook groups are great. Zoom meetings are fantastic. If you're trying to do directly patient communication, I do think that if you're trying to get one-on-one with them without the need of teledentistry, then phone is the best way. Because here's the other thing, not right now, everybody's wearing their PJs and they're chilling. Okay. Nobody wants to really do FaceTime with you unless they are prepared and they have to. So, and I know this because my business, except for speaking, which I'm gone mostly every single week to speak, but except for speaking, my business is 100% virtual. And you guys are going to laugh, but I usually have a jacket. So my seat here, my chair, has a little rod in the back, and there's usually a jacket hanging there. Because if I ever get a call from somebody saying, "Can you do FaceTime right now?" I put on a jacket, and then I'm working with them, right? Like,
are you wearing your PJs on the bottom half? Do you have bunny slippers on right now today?
Totally. I have a T-shirt on, and I'm just wearing a jacket. You see, so we all kind of have to realize where people will be when they are at home. So if you're communicating with patients at a uninformed time, or you have already not scheduled it, then a phone is the best way to communicate. And also with your team, because you know what, they may have kids at home, they may have things going on. So always schedule a time. Don't just go live with people without telling them that you want to.
Totally. I think it's such a great way to stay in touch with our teams right now. So I wanted to say hello. Hey, Bob Pick. Thanks for being here. Yep, definitely some energy, especially now that you're here, Bob. Thanks for being with us. We've got Ann Duffy here. Hey, Ann. Joanne. Laura. Hey, Laura Jameson. Marianne. Suzanne. Susan, hey, thank you guys for being here with us. So far, our pieces of connection, our plan of moving forward is, number one, find common ground. Number two, did I get it right? Share your story.
That's right. That's right.
What's number three?
So this one's my super favorite one, and we have kind of already touched upon it, but I'm going to touch upon it even more a little bit. Be approachable. And I know this sounds very simple, and what I mean by that is be approachable. But here's the issue that happens. Most times what we do is we send out an email communication saying, "Call us, we are here for you," right? And then when they call, you are not there for them. Or you don't have your entire strategy in place of what happens when somebody decides to communicate with you. Now, being approachable simply means, yes, you are available for the people who are with you. So I'm going to give you a real honest example here. A real honest example. I am always approachable, where I tell people, shoot me a Facebook message, just become friends with me on Facebook and you're going to reach me directly. Now, that's a great thing, but when you are doing that constantly, so if I were to look at my messages today alone, I probably have over 40 messages today alone, okay, from people who are reaching out to me. This was the same thing. Last week was crazy. It was way too many.
You were spending your time doing math.
I mean, yeah, it was just way too many to count, right? And at that point, I had to kind of, reach out to one of my clients who was messaging me last week. And this morning I messaged him and said, listen, here's the detail that you want, but what I want you to do is, moving forward, just send an email to info@minalsampat.com. My team is helping me go through all this messaging because there's quite a bit, and I need to make sure that I can get you in a timely manner. But that was a mistake that has happened. You see, in being approachable, if you don't have a plan on how you are going to constantly show up, then you can't be approachable. Yeah. So in your marketing or in your messaging or in your communication, especially right now, if you tell people you are there for them, then you have to be there for them. You can't do fake, false marketing. That I don't believe in that. If you're going to tell somebody, feel free to shoot me a message, they should be able to
reach you.
Go ahead and reach you. Right now, if they don't, then have a plan of action. Whatever that plan of action is in your Be Approachable method, state it clearly. And this is really important in your messaging, because I have seen quite a few messaging coming out right now. They're saying, well, they said to call them and I called them and nobody's picking up. Or they just told me that they themselves are closed and their team members are not available to chat with us. So that doesn't help you with your marketing, because you just sent out mass communication to people saying, I'm here, but you're not there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So in the part of connection, connecting is great, but people need to be able to connect with you. And whatever that medium is, whether it's phone, whether it's live, whether it's IM, whether it's text, be clear about it, and also be realistic with yourself and say, can I handle this medium? And make sure that you're following that through.
And right here, I mean, like, I can see where this really definitely applies in normal times. Right now, I think I can see where this could be challenging. Even Be Live, the platform we're on, normally there's somebody who can chat. And I ran into trouble earlier today on a Facebook Live, and we couldn't get, there was no place to chat. It was shut down. So I mean, we're living through some times that are kind of extenuating circumstances, I would say, right? So this is a great principle for all the time, and do the best you can right now.
Do the best you can, and also be honest about it. There are times where some technology fails me, even in regular times, and I'll just come out and say, hey guys, technology decided not to work with me today. So just give me a few minutes, and I'm going to try and see what we can do and how we can make it work. And we kind of show up. But it's really important right now, because if you're telling people you're going to be there, then you have to be there. And choose a medium and be approachable on that medium, whatever that is. For me, Facebook is easiest medium, and that's okay with me. For some people, it could be emails. For other people, it could be phone. Whatever that is, be clear about it and voice it to people.
Yeah. So would this be a good time for us to segue and just take a little talk about mediums just a little bit? Yeah. I mean, because if we look back we have multiple audiences here potentially with this. We have the speaker consultant, the event planner, who many event planners are scrambling and trying to get to where they can go virtual now, or have to be virtual now. I think we'll eventually have some hybrid meetings with both in-person and virtual attendance. But also we have the dentist and the dental team members, many of whom are probably, I don't know, is anybody working more than just emergencies at this point? I'm pretty sure we're shut down across the board, right? Yeah. So with that in mind, in the short term, platforms to use, do you have a recommendation on, we talked a minute ago about Zoom being probably good for the dentist to stay connected with their team. Probably the same with, we've got Heidi Mount here. Hey, Heidi, I hope you're doing well, friend. And Angela Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us. But the question would be, do we think Zoom's just kind of an all-around amazing thing? If we're not trying to do like 5,000 people or even 500 people, do we feel like for pretty much all of those audiences, like a study club should be able to use Zoom, like the smaller meetings should be able to use Zoom pretty easily? Would you think? Would that be your go-to?
Well, I recently just presented at the AADP conference in Florida via Zoom. And not only did I present, I did a live Q&A and I sat on a panel via Zoom. So yeah, so I was on a panel where we were doing Q&As, and I was there on the screen, and I had the PowerPoint going, and I was answering questions. I also did a live Q&A. I also presented. So I definitely think that Zoom is a great platform for that. Now, there are many different ways that people are using technology today. I think the virtual revolution, if we may, is going to bring more and more choices available to us. Now, I am a believer of equal opportunity, equal opportunity on all different kind of platforms, right? So Zoom is what I specifically use to work with all my clients. That's the platform that I use when I'm training, when I'm coaching, and I have the capability of recording my calls, which is fantastic. So I have it this way, and I can share my screen and all that cool stuff. So Zoom is what I use there. Now, Be Live, what you and I are using right now, is my go-to platform for going live. Now, even with Be Live, once this show is done, we have the opportunity to download the audio and the video. That is important to me because my show gets turned into a YouTube channel, into a podcast. So we repurpose the show. So that kind of becomes important to me as well.
Yeah, me too.
Now, with my group, I use the Facebook groups. And that's where I go live, and that's where we share our content and we communicate, and that's inside a Facebook group. With my teams, my client teams, the people that I'm coaching, I use Trello. And Trello is an online platform where it's a calendar platform where you can do tasks and assign tasks, create to-do lists. They can share info. They can attach files. They can attach links. And it's a communicative...
like a project management?
Like a project management platform. But the cool thing about that platform is also that it's free. Okay, so Trello is free and is owned by Google. So if you have a Gmail address, you can just assign it. And it's a fantastic way for all of us to stay on board, because once again, I can assign deadlines. They can assign deadlines. They can, if they want me to check something, they can directly add it there. So everything is in the Trello platform. Now, I use Typeform. If you guys think I don't use, this is why technology and I are so in sync, you see. I use a platform called Typeform. And Typeform is a survey platform that I could edit and make it look pretty, that goes out to all my clients before they start with me. And I can specify the questions, I can see what's going on, they can do some type-ins, and that's Typeform. So I use that as well. Now, I use SurveyMonkey when I'm doing my workshops. So there are many different platforms, and they all provide specific things on what you need. The cool part about all of this is most of the platforms that you want to use are free or economical. Now, when I do the live videos, right, I download the live videos, and then I use something called Subtitle. Subtitle is a captioning service. Subtitle, yeah. And the reason I like that is because guess what? 60% of the viewers watch a video more when there are subtitles, because not everybody has their headphones. So when I repost my video, I can go ahead and I download the video, even if it's a live video. I have captions on it. Now, I get the caption file from Subtitle. I can also directly take the SRT file and download it to my actual live video on Facebook. So the same live video with comments and everything will now have subtitles. So there is, whatever you need, there's a technology out there for it. Luckily for me, I've been experimenting for so long, and I live virtually pretty much. So I know all this technology. So yeah, there is a lot of cool stuff that people can use, and it's all out there. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. If you are a meeting planner who's watching this and you are looking a way for you to get in front of people, like I mentioned, as a speaker, I have used Zoom many times to speak at different meetings, even conferences. Like I said, I was a panelist in Florida earlier this month, and I live in Washington State. Let
me ask you about that. So was everybody virtual then? And
no,
you did
only me.
So, okay. So how did they do that? So they had the people on the stage, and they had you on the PowerPoint?
Right. So what happened was they shot me the PowerPoint, and then they sent me the Zoom link. So I shared my screen and myself, and then in the panelist, the moderator would ask us all the questions, but I was on the screen and everybody else was on, on the room. And from what I hear, the feedback was great. It all worked out really well.
That's awesome. I myself have done that previously for a national meeting where I come right here from me and my cats came into a national meeting. It's wonderful across the country. It's really a wonderful alternative. I think I'm anticipating that when things settle out into our new normal and we get back to where we're meeting in person, because certainly we will be meeting in person again. There's just way too much benefit not to, but I expect that we'll have more hybrid meetings. We'll definitely have more virtual attendance, and I think we probably will see some meetings continually to stay at that virtual platform opportunity, because it's just, in a lot of ways, it's easier for the planner and for the organization. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, I have also done something. This is my trick and my secret. I have never shared it with anybody, but I'll share it with you guys.
It's just us here.
It's just us here, and only the Facebook world of 1 billion daily active users. But if you are a meeting planner, I'm going to share the secret with you. Are you ready? All right. If you're a meeting planner, because I do workshops and I do seminars, I have actually had virtual sponsors. So this is a mid-tier between them being there physically and just sending you the marketing promotions. This is them actually coming either live right away and they're presenting to your group. So they're paying for the sponsorship, or they send you a video beforehand.
Yeah.
And in that video, there is a call to action and there's a promo. And whatever that is, people opt in, and now they're opting in, they're doing it. So virtual sponsorship has been a great way for me to get the right people in front of my audience without having, without having them travel. Yeah. And especially because there are so many meetings that overlap sometimes. And the sponsors you want have to pick and choose. So this is something that I always offer as a mid-tier. And, most companies, they love it. They're like, oh, I just do a video and send it to you. Yeah, you do a video and send it to me, or you come on live, whichever you want.
That was brilliant. Actually, we did that at Jumpstart too. We did have a virtual sponsor there this year too, and I think you're absolutely. I'd probably borrowed that idea from you, actually. I think it's brilliant, and sponsorship is a whole nother piece of this that needs to be unpacked. That we'll figure out as we come together again for this new normal, how sponsorship is going to play in. But something has to change there anyway. There were multiple things in our world that needed a reset, and definitely the sponsorship model definitely needed a reset. In my opinion, that there are so many sponsors that just were not getting what they felt they needed for return on investment and all the time and money that they're putting out to that. So we'll see as this all shakes out again, as they roll out those dice out of the Yahtzee cup. We'll see where we land, and oh man, dentistry, we're strong people. We're going to be fine. We're all going to pull together. We're going to pull through this. So we're getting close to where we need to wrap up here in the next probably 5 minutes or so. Could you share with us just briefly? There were as a step 4 and a 5, and I'm assuming that maybe these are steps that are in your book.
Chapter 2, guys. Chapter 2. It says 5 ways to connect.
Perfect. Could you just give us real quick, what is step 4 and step 5 for those who are keeping track? And then be sure you pick up why your marketing is killing your business on Amazon.
So, chapter 2 kind of goes over that, like I mentioned, because I know we had a lot of people who bought this book. Funnily enough, Vanessa, my book sales have been steady, daily book sales. So if you have books right now, guys, this is a good time to promote.
Can we hit pause on that for just a minute? Can we just stop and think about that for a minute? Because I feel like we're chugging along, we're throwing all this information out, but I really want to stop and absorb that a minute. I've had new business in the last week. I've spoken to multiple people who have had new business in the last, for me, it's really closer to almost 2 weeks. When it really landed for me was the Wednesday night, almost 2 weeks ago, when I learned that Hinman had made the absolute right decision. But that's when it hit me hard. That it was like, whoa, right? So over that time, in these last almost 2 weeks, I've continued to bring in some new business. Many people that I'm talking with are booking speaking engagements for in-person speaking engagements for later in the year, are bringing in new clients. So I just want to pause and say it's not all doom and gloom. I in no way am wanting to minimize the severity of what's happening in our world, because I think that my daughter's calling me, and I'm on Facebook Live right now, honey. I really want to talk to you. I'll have to call her later. She's on the front lines at the hospital, and so I really want to pick up that call, but she'll be fine. But I think that if we just we've been through, I probably have been through, as a boomer, maybe more than some of the millennials with recessions and, different things that we've had, 9/11. My kids were in elementary school during 9/11, right? But those of us who have lived through like downturns before, this is certainly not exactly the same. But I guess where I'm wanting to go with that is that we will survive. We can pull together through this. And I've derailed. I don't remember what the point was I was going to make. So I'll be completely transparent about that. I had a point, but I lost it. So bring us step 4 and 5. I know what it was the new business coming in.
Right. And, like I said, I've been very lucky where things, definitely speaking engagements have been postponed. I was completely booked till end of May, but now till end of May, everything has been postponed to a later date, but nothing has been canceled. They were all postponed. And I am still having potential clients who are calling me, and I'm speaking with them. The book sales have been consistent, and I am with you, Vanessa. It is what it is. It is what it is.
And let's band together.
Last week we all had the opportunity to do whatever it takes to accept the reality. And this week, like I said, I took a survey in my group, and majority of the people are saying, we are ready. We are ready to implement. We are ready to learn. What do we do to come out stronger for this? I am ready. So we are at the stage, we are past the stage of grief and questions, and we're at acceptance. And now we're ready to rock and roll. So absolutely, between what you and I discussed even beforehand today, before going live, we're all going to be good.
And I think too, as speakers and consultants that are entrepreneurs, I really feel like I'm grateful to be a small business owner right now. Not everybody might feel the same way, but the way I look at that is I feel like at least I'm in control of my destiny to some degree, as opposed to being an airline, a flight attendant, or someone who's just, the laid off. We're already in the mode of creating and growing our businesses. So, which that brings us back to this marketing topic. So lay on us a step 4 and 5, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yes, the step 4 and 5 they're easy steps. One of the steps that I talk about is provide a solution. And what I mean by that is I give you an example of this right now. When I said, when somebody said, can I do virtual consults? And I talked about, there's an ADA link that's available. I will send it over to you. I'm providing you a solution. So in that same way of connection, what are the meeting planners or your patients or your practices looking from you right now? What do they need from you, right? So in that same way, provide that solution. Whatever it is that they are looking for, you can come up with resources and provide that. And I've been doing that a lot with my clients, where they will reach out to me and say, hey, what do I do about this? Or meeting planners will come and say, Minal, we have you speaking here, but what do I do? And I'll tell them, you know what? I can do Zoom. This is how we do it. Or we can reschedule it to this date. This is how we can get my sponsors to come. Provide a solution. So instead of being confusing and question-oriented, be solution-oriented.
Yes. Make it easy.
Make it easy for them and provide a solution, whatever that solution is. And sometimes the solution is, listen, give me a second. I need to Google this, and I'm going to get back to you in 10 minutes, and I'll send you over the information, or I'll get back to you tomorrow. That's still okay, because you're still connecting with people by providing a solution. And then the last one is something that we talk about in marketing quite often. But again, this is a different approach to it. Evoke emotion.
Emotion?
Evoke emotion is a way to connect. And again, this going back to that finding the common ground is, if people are already anxious, right? Again, you have to be the voice of calm, or you have to make sure that you are giving them something to hold on to, compared to just go on fully as what is $69 special again, right? You can't do that. So evoking emotion is a different thing, where if you want to get your point across, sometimes you need to be authentic, and sometimes you need to share that, or you need to talk about it. Usually, like I was in a webinar last week, and there were 1,700 people who are watching me at this webinar. And I shared that I'm a dental hygienist, and this is, a dental industry webinar, and this is what I'm talking about from a hygienist point of view. So sometimes it's important for you to kind of go deep in your life and evoke that emotion from your attendees to get a point across. Yeah. Now, if I just came out and said I'm a marketing strategist, and my audience was just all dental, and they're going to be like, well, you are another marketing person. But
partly that helps you, it wraps back around, doesn't it, to find common ground?
Yes, that's what I said.
It's that whole showing up as a human, like it ties the ribbon on it. Well done with those 5 steps, by the way, because I feel like it really is really comprehensive. And what it really does all come back to relationship and connection. And I think it can feel funny right now to market too, because if people are talking about laying off teams, or they're struggling as a business, or not sure how they're going to be able to pay their rent next month. And, we hear this kind of stories, but we also have to remember that it's essential that we are able to keep our economy going, that we're able to continue to exchange funds, that we're able to continue to bring
and also finding creative ways, right? So I
Yes.
had a client reach out today, said that I can't do anything until June because we are closed till June. Like their state mandated till June 15th. And I said, you know what? That's April, May, and June. That's 3 months payments you have to make me. And I'm working out on a strategy right now where I'm going to say, why don't we just do 25%? So why don't we just make it easy for you? Where can we find a common ground? What is going to make you feel comfortable? What am I comfortable with? And we are open. We are having these discussions. And again, like I said, at the end of the day, I believe Maya Angelou said that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you do, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. And that's your marketing. Your marketing is, how do you make others feel? What do they say about you? What do people say about me when I'm not in the room is my marketing. So when you shift your focus and you think about it that way, your answers come easier to you. When you have that question of, should I be sending out this email or not? Your answers come to you when you say, okay, what is a common ground?
Wow, good stuff. And I'm following along here on the comments, and this is really hitting home, it looks like, for our listeners. So I just want to jump off and add on to that last comment, especially for in my area of marketing with speakers and consultants, and how many of our the speakers we've worked with are doing a marketing campaign they have ongoing email campaigns. What we're suggesting is that the messaging be modified. You can still send out information about your courses, but let's add on there something about to help those planners who are wanting to or having to figure it out right now. Let them know that you can help them with a virtual presentation. In fact, we're pulling together, I mentioned this earlier on the Tim Gard when we talked this morning, so some of you probably have heard this, but we're pulling together resources to help both the planner and the speaker, so that you guys will be able to know what the platforms are, to know, at least to point you in the direction of what we have found has been really helpful. And also some guidelines, some general guidelines, some etiquette, that sort of thing. It's technology. You want to be sure and hop on there and, and give it a whirl and try it out before the day of the big conference, right, Minal? But it's definitely, we've been using Zoom for years, and I use it all day, every day. And Be Live now, they do have this new version, this new studio, I think they call it, or I don't know what they call it, but which is better than the last one. It just keeps getting better. And so anything I haven't asked you that I should have asked you about this topic?
The only thing that I would say to everybody who's watching, and again, our wonderful industry that we are today, just feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out to other people. Feel free to reach out for help. I do that all the time. When I don't know something, Vanessa, I email you, for your question. And we are stronger together as a community. And that's what's really brilliant about our industry, is that we do share openly. There are many times that I have a question and I reach out to so many of the DSI, group members, and I always say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And that information is provided in there. So if you are somebody who is feeling a little stuck, or this is all something new, somebody in my group today commented that they broke down and had to cry yesterday just to get over it. Whatever it is that you're feeling, that you need that help with, know that we are here, as a faculty for DSI, we're all here for you. Whatever it is, it's an open communication stream, guys. So don't worry about it. Just shoot us a message, and we will do whatever we can to help along the process.
Thank you. And what is the best way for them to reach you? Is it hello@Minal Sampat?
Mm-hmm. So hello@Minal Sampat is my email. So HELLO@MINALSAMPAT.com. And like I said, Facebook.
Yeah, totally. We'll find you on Facebook. I do want to suggest one more thing before we go, and this was not the point of the us coming together. It's really to nurture and help our community. But I believe that helping our community is also with providing them with other solutions. And so would you, and I'm just going to kind of surprise you with this, could you share with us how can we engage with you? I know you do consulting. Do you have like other programs? So for the speaker consultant would be one way, the meeting planner, how do we engage with you? But also if we're a dentist who has a dental team, what are the solutions that you offer, especially that are relevant to right now?
I am a marketing strategist. So what I kind of do, my superpower, let's say, is that I am able to look at marketing, and on average, consultants, speakers, meeting planners, anybody who wants to work with me, on average, my clients see a decrease by 20% in their marketing expenses while increasing revenue. So if you are a dental practice, my recent numbers are within 6 months, new patient numbers doubled. Within 9 months, production went up by $200,000 while reducing your marketing budget at the same time. So I am able to look at everything from an outside point of view and say, what is going to work, what is not going to work, how are we going to connect? And that's for the dental owners and practice owners. I also train your team to become your marketing gurus. I don't sell websites, I don't sell reviews, I don't sell you anything. So whatever I tell you is completely unbiased. I don't take any referral fees. Everything comes to you guys. So like this year, we are in March, and this year alone, my clients have saved over $50,000 just in marketing services from other companies because they want to work with me, and now they work with my clients, and I don't take any fees. So that's
awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that's relevant to the dentist. There's a whole lot of dentists out there right now that type of service would really be helpful to them.
And for the speakers and consultants that I have here, I am good at teaching you how to market yourself into a thought leader. So if you have followed my journey, or if you have seen my book launches, or I launched my first company by breaking a Guinness record. I launched my book at Jumpstart 2020, but it became a bestseller within 24 hours in 5 countries. And there are so many strategies that you can use. I was pretty much a nobody 2 years ago, right? So, how do you get yourself known? How do you get yourself to market yourself as a thought leader? I'm good at that. I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with the best KOLs in the industry, and it's always a great learning experience each way. So that's what I do, for consultants and speakers. And then the last one, meeting planners. I would love to chat with you because, well, one, I'm a speaker. So if you're looking for a speaker, I'm here. And the second way is also, if you're trying to attract more of a millennial crowd, if you're trying to attract the Gen Xers, I have had multiple meeting planners reach out to me and say, Minal, what are some technologies or what are some ways that we can market this meeting to gain that audience? I also offer brand ambassador services. So I have some organizations talking to me right now where they want me to become their brand ambassador, to talk about their meetings, to interview for them and things like that, so we can attract a younger crowd. So I am in that younger crowd. Yeah, so there are multiple different services. Best thing, just give me a call, just reach out to me, become Facebook friends, shoot me an email, and we'll chat it out. We'll find the common ground.
And if you have trouble with math questions, she's your gal. And on that note, thank you so much for being here today, Minal. It really means a lot. We've had people who've hung with us the whole time here and have really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed this, and these are really strong, solid tips for building connection. Find common ground, share your story, be approachable, provide solutions, evoke emotion. That right there is a lot for people to work with. And as they evaluate their own marketing, I want to encourage, no matter who you are in the industry, to keep in contact with your clients, your past clients, and don't be afraid to send those emails, and don't be afraid to talk about your services. It's an essential piece of this. We can't just give it all away. We have to have businesses to come back to, and just know that there is, especially for us as speakers and consultants, there is business out there to be had, and just tweak and your offerings into something that really feels relevant and helpful right now. So more on that soon. I'll be doing my own Facebook Live here one of these days. Right now I've got a couple a day scheduled between the Bureau and the DSI. We're trying to get this really relevant information out. And so I thought of you right away, Minal. And thanks again for being here and sharing your message. And thank you all for listening in. And let's see here, Joy. Thank you for being here, Joy, and all of our friends out here who've been listening. And thank you so much for your comments. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'm sure we can get back to you. And I think I need to stop because I'm just going to keep rambling on Facebook all day.
No, please, like you said, please show up. Please do wonderful things, and we are here for you. If you have any questions, I see that you guys still have some questions. I will make sure I comment back with them. And Vanessa, why don't we have some fun? Why don't we in the group, right? Because right now we are all also working in our PJs at our homes. I had a few people send me photos that they're using their iron tables as their desk right now. And all this hilarious stuff happening. Maybe we should have some light fun in the next couple of days or next week where we have people sharing about how they're working from home, how they're adjusting.
Oh, sure.
And let's make it into a social media fun kind of, let's, break out the mold and just have some fun with this and see how our desks look when we are home.
In a couple of weeks, we'll all be taking pictures of our roots growing out. Maybe it's better to take the pictures now than later.
I know. I was just going to say, I'm like, my hairdresser, I'm not going to see my hairdresser for months, and I can't contain this, so.
Lucky I had just had my hair cut recently, so I'm a little bit ahead of that curve. But yeah. All right. Well, everyone, have a great night. Be well, and we will see you here. Do reach back here to hello@minalsampat.com. We're info@thedentalspeaker.com. Let us know how we can help you. If there's a topic you'd like us to bring, we'll be happy to bring it here for you guys. Hang in there. Be strong. We're Jumpstart Nation strong. We've got this, guys. Take care. And until next time, be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.